Hey guys, it's TRIZE here, back with Automation, the car company Tycoon game in the most powerful engine series. We're going to be building the most powerful horsepower per liter engine in version 4.2.14. I made a build similar to this one over a year ago, but that's on the old but now stable version of version 4.1. Now, you could do a lot more with this open beta version of the game than ever before. So without further ado, let's get on with this engine build. So the first thing you gotta do on the top left portion of your screen is you set the year all the way out, max this out to the year of 2020 to maximize technology and everything related to this engine. And after choosing the inline 3 engine configuration, you may choose any block material that you may choose from. You can choose magnesium for the sake of weight, but not the world's best in heat conductivity. And for the bore, you set this to a 79.9 millimeters. And for the stroke here, you set this way down to a 66.5 millimeters, which gets the engine size to exactly 1,000 cubic centimeters, or exactly 1 liter. And we're going to be using dual overhead cab, 5 valves, made out of whatever head material that you may choose from. Again, aluminum silicone for the sake of weight. And with this quality slider, as you see right here for the open beta version of the game, is that you max this out all the way out to a plus 15 for everything, no matter if it's for the engine block in general, the bottom end, top end, turbocharger, everything, just to maximize the performance of this engine. For the balance shaft, you are not required to have a balance shaft or harmonic damper whatsoever, so you could just choose the none selection. And for the crank cowl rods and pistons, the best ones out of all of them. So a billet steel crankshaft with lightweight titanium cowl rods and lightweight forged pistons, because this engine is going to be a high rever and it's not that great in terms of torque. For the compression, like always with this version of the game, is you set this to the extreme level of a 15.0 to 1 ratio, with the cam profile set to a racing setting of an 82, and the springs and lifters set this one click down to a 49, and like always, again, VVT at all cams. For the turbocharger, we're going to be using a single turbo setup with a smart boost system. And for the intercooler, it's kind of interesting. You set the intercooler down to 0 horsepower, so no intercooler whatsoever. And this should automatically select this for you. If not, then you select the variable geometry ball bearing setup of the aspiration setup details. And for the compressor size right here, is you set this to a 79 millimeters, 79.0. The turbine size, you set this to a 73.7 millimeters. The AR and compressor trim, the third setting, you set this, nearly max this out to an 84. And the maximum boost, you set this to a 31.9 PSI. For the fuel system and everything, it's pretty much like the usual, so we're going to be using a direct injection throttle per cylinder race intake running on ethanol fuel. With the tuned fuel type right below this, you set this 2 clips up to a +2, which gets the AKI at 127, which is like whatever this in RON. With the fuel mixture set all the way up to a 10.0, the ignition timing set almost maxes out to a 97, and the max RPM limit set to a high amount of a 10,300 RPM. And finally, for the exhaust and everything, so we're using some turbocharged racing headers with a single exhaust, with the exhaust size set, maxes out to 203 millimeters, which equals to 8 inches. And like always, no cats, no mufflers, bring that quality up. And the final horsepower rating we get is a 551.8 horsepower, 10,300 RPM, and the torque at 309.2 pounds-feet of torque at 8,200 RPM. And with this engine in general, there is no knocking, no valve full, and little stress to components, but we do get some minor stress with the crankshaft, as we're starting to get some stress at 10,200 RPM, but it's at -2 in reliability, but it's doable. And compared to my original engine, made back in the start of 2021, is that I got up to like 475 horsepower on the version 4.1 version of the game, but this version got 75-ish more horsepower than the old one compared to the new one, which that is a great improvement. Alright, for this portion of the video, I'm going to give you here what this engine sounds like with the manual testing mode, and then I'll cycle through all the graphs on here, starting with the power and torque, torque and boost, torque and efficiency, and the power and efficiency graphs. After showing you all those main and important graphs, I'll show you the engine as is, do some fake gear shifts while we're at it, and we'll end off the video right there. So bring back the graph visibility, give you here right now. Some considerable amount of turbo lag as the turbocharger does kick in at around 7,000 RPM, 7,200, then peaks out at around 8,200, and it just goes up from here. So that'll do it with Automation, the car company Tycoon game with this powerful liter per horsepower engine. Getting around 550 horsepower in an engine like this is quite impressive. It ain't much in size, but it can fit in a lot of car bodies in Automation. Also, this is going to be the only engine I showcase since the other configurations produce less power compared to this inline 3 engine. Like the inline 4, 5, 6, and so on, it produces less power than this guy right here. And for those who are interested in this type of content, please be sure to like and subscribe so you won't miss out on any videos like this in the future, including my automation to BeamNG Drive videos too. So this is TRIZE rising up and signing out.